we find an increase of suicide cases almost every day, and even particularly among Christian youths as well. So, how do we address such issues from a Christian worldview? And also, what is the role of the church, in helping people going through these difficult times to get them back, to being whole, or be made whole again?
Right, that's a very deep question, and it's a very sobering question, and I don't know if I can do justice to this in such a short time, but very quickly I'll try to present a few things. When somebody goes through depression or when they are going through an emotional low, let's call it that, there is something called as a cognitive triad, for somebody that goes through depression. That's called as the triad of helplessness, hopelessness, and worthlessness. Typically, a person who is struggling with an emotional low goes through these three things called as the cognitive triad. They feel helpless, they feel hopeless, they feel worthless. Now, if you examine these closely as a biblical Christian, you know that the question of worthlessness is the question that is connected to identity. And if you're able to point to that person to the idea of him being created in the image and likeness of God, and that he is not worthless, he comes infused with a lot of value and worth because he is made fearfully and wonderfully in the image and likeness of God, that will be hugely liberating for that person. Second, the question of helplessness. That person thinks, I am in this dark place and there is nobody to help me. Nobody even understands what I'm going through. They're just telling me to read, 5 chapters of the Bible and pray half an hour. I've been doing that always and it's not helping. Okay, if this person realizes that there is actually a savior with scars who just does not sympathize with them, but actually empathizes with them because he's gone through pain and loneliness and suffering and helplessness on the cross of Calvary, then this person would know well to reach out and depend on that God and will not feel helpless. So worthlessness, question of identity; helplessness, question of a need and support, needing somebody who understands what I'm going through. And we have Jesus there. The Bible describes him as the great high priest who is uniquely qualified to empathize with us, right? And intercedes for us. And the question of worthlessness, helplessness, and hopelessness. Again, many people think, oh, I'm hopeless. I'm in this dark hole. It's going to get darker and darker. I can only see the glass half empty. I can never see it half full. I am always pessimistic. And I've been here, for so long, and I've never been able to come out of it. Then we have in Jesus Christ, the eternal hope giver. And so as a church, I think we are to start recognizing that there is a problem, which is not just outside the church doors, but actually inside the church, and start increasing and having programs of awareness like this for Christians, and have broad biblical frameworks that actually are foundational in understanding these issues and in being able to suggest remedial measures and not be embarrassed about it anymore, not stigmatize a person that is going through struggle anymore, and not spiritualize all of these things anymore and make them feel even more miserable than what they already are. If we understand that that a fractured mind is as real as a fractured leg, and we take remedial action, the way we would for a fractured leg, we will not be praying, we will not be telling, read the Bible a little more, pray a little more. We will immediately rush them to the orthopedician. But when it is a fractured and a fatigued mind, we somehow seem to be first subscribing and prescribing spiritual pills. That person might have been doing all of this, or that person may not even be in a position where he can do all of this. And so I think the church has to become a little more understanding, understand the issue at hand, realize the magnitude of the problem, develop frameworks for awareness, and have frameworks to help people understand the root cause from a biblical worldview, and then have a lineup of people that are willing to invest in this area. I'm sure every church will have at least one or two persons that has a background, let us say, in psychology, and they can come alongside and counsel. And nobody should be looking at anybody that goes for counseling in a very judgmental way or in a very demeaning way. Unfortunately, our country really has to, break all of these stigmas so that our dear suffering ones, need not have to suffer because of our misperception and misattribution and over spiritualization of things.
Mhm.